The ultimate compliment is to be considered an asset by those who know you. But what exactly does that mean? And how do we get there? I believe that there is a less discussed approach to becoming a person of value, a person who is successful, respected by others, and fulfilled. It's somewhere between the hustle culture and the ease and flow of manifestation. This podcast is designed to be a resource for the ambitious, the relentless, and the rare who are breaking societal norms, going against the grain, and are open to unconventional practices as we study what it takes to be a true asset in every area of life. My hope is that you'll find this podcast unique and like it enough to share it with a friend and maybe even one day join us at one of our in-person events. Enjoy. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another podcast episode of She's an Asset with me, your host, Autumn Clifford. I'm so excited to have you here as we're going to be talking to a girlfriend of mine who I really love. And we're going to talk about, I want to talk about the journey. Haley is going to introduce herself in a minute, and she's really going to talk to you about her journey and how she's been through some stuff and where she is today in a very, I would say in a very short amount of time. I mean, it feels like forever, but really it's like the short amount of time. She's really been able to fail forward, overcome a lot in her life. She's certainly an asset in her life, and she's definitely an asset in my life. And we're going to be talking about that. So that's exciting. As a reminder, everything that we talk about, this entire podcast is completely unscripted. There's nothing that we've done to prepare except I said, Haley, sit down. We're doing this. And she's like, what the hell am I going to talk about? And I said, don't worry about it. I got you. And so this is completely off the cuff. So turn this down if you're around young children, because we never know what's coming out of my mouth. That's the truth. And brace yourself. So welcome. Haley, please tell the people a little bit about you.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Haley McGovern. We're in Maine right now. I'm originally from little town in Los Angeles, California, San Pedro. So if anyone's listening from there, what is up? I came to Maine because my husband is originally from here. We actually met in Alaska working offshore on a tug and barge. So one of my good friends, essentially he was really kind of like tired from the season. He had been there over 100 days and he really wanted to go see his girlfriend. So he was hitting me up like, hey, Haley, how do I get a relief? And it was my first year shipped out and I was very money hungry. I wanted to buy a house and have some assets of my own. So I very quickly was like, I'll come relieve you if I can get paid for it. And essentially I met my husband. They were working together and so yeah, Storm and I, we shipped out together for 3 years. We essentially stopped shipping out because we wanted a family, which we are blessed to have now. And it was just really not sustainable for us to have a family and be shipped out for 6, 7, 8 months at a time. So we started investing in real estate in our off season, and that is definitely how I got into the real estate mortgage world. We were looking at houses that we just, they are what they are. We call them dumps, and most of the properties we've bought aren't nice, but they're in great locations. We believe in locations of real estate, and we didn't expect the market to do what it did, in increasing like it did. We were just investing essentially for our retirement and for cash flow. But obviously, when the market, you know, when you have multiple houses and they go up 6, 7, 8, 9%, you make a lot of money having the more real estate. So we've been very blessed in our journey together. I would say that we have helped each other out and we're a partnership. So Storm and I both have different things to bring to the table. He's really good at things that I hate, and I'm really good at things that he hates. So together we've been able to build a life that I don't think either of us thought we would have. So for me in mortgages, it's really fun to help people with their journey of getting to somewhere they never thought they'd be. Because just like you, and you're probably listening, and maybe you own a house, maybe you don't, maybe you want to invest it, maybe you don't. But that day that you accomplish something really hard that you thought was completely out of your reach, which was something that I thought was out of my reach.
We have to go unlock the door.
Storm has entered the building now. Storm has entered the building now.
Storm's in the house.
Oh, okay.
Haley, thank you for that. Storm is here, guys. We were just talking about Storm. He walked in, he felt the vibes. So here's what I want to say is, so now we talk about this all the time, you and I. You're living the best life. You're living a great life. You have beautiful children. You have a beautiful husband. You guys have great businesses. You're growing and you're happy. Let me ask you this. Tell me about what made you, where did you come from? Did you always have an easy life?
No. Where I came from, it was kind of I like to sum it up in more of like a dog eat dog type of world where, it's either sink or swim. And I think that for anything in life, you either excel or you don't, you fail. So no, I mean, anybody from where I'm from will know that it's hard because of your environment, right? If you're surrounded by great people, you're probably going to be great. If you're surrounded by terrible people, you're probably going to be terrible. So unfortunately, where I'm from, it's just there's a lot of chaos and drugs and gangs and violence. So no, I wouldn't say it was it was easy at all to be there. And it definitely made me keep my head on a swivel. Like when I first came to Maine, I was very much like, where is everyone at? Locking my door and being very situational aware, which Autumn promotes. But honestly, it's gone away a lot being in Maine because I just am like, oh, I'm in Maine, and no one's gonna hurt me here. Although things do happen that are crazy, it's just the ratio isn't as high here.
Totally. And so you come from San Pedro? I said it right? Yeah. I said it right. And so you come and she worked on a tugboat. If anybody missed that, this girl literally worked on a tugboat. Like, what the heck? One of probably the scariest, toughest jobs. And look how pretty she is. Like, what the heck? We love that. Strong women, yes. And now you're over here crushing it. But here's the thing: we have a lot of listeners who are going through tough times, right? They're in that like, can I do the hard thing phase. So Haley, really, kind of as an introductory episode, we have a lot more we're going to talk about, especially when we actually have good microphones, good lighting. But as just an introductory post, as a quick hitter episode, you're very inspirational to me, and it's so funny, you guys, because one of the things I love about Haley is that she always like will speak these like this philosophical shit to me that I love. Like one day she actually got this sign. It says me versus me. But that's literally the mentality that I love and I believe everybody needs. And I just feel like you're so cutting edge because like you're really out there and your mentality is what it should be, obviously, to be successful, and your life is living proof of that. And so my long-winded motherfucking question is, what have you done, or what's the mindset, what's the mentality that somebody who's kind of struggling, who doesn't know if he or she can get through the tough stuff, like what would you tell them?
Yeah, this reminds me of the high schooler that we just had watching Sunny, and I feel for people who don't believe in themselves. And I can say honestly that there have been times, and constantly I'm doubting myself, constantly I'm asking myself, can I do this? But I try. I always try. I always put my best effort forward. And if I fail, it's a learning lesson, and that's okay. I'm going to learn from that too. But what I would say is just keep doing hard shit. If you can do something hard every day, do it. Don't if something is like, oh, this is really hard, I'm not going to do it. Instead, I'm going to go cuddle up and watch Netflix. Like, fuck that. Don't do that. Do what is hard always. Take the path of least resistance always, because here's the thing: if you want to get somewhere and you're not happy with where you're at right now, it's going to take a lot of courage. It's going to take a lot in you that gets you motivated to, hey, I'm going to, instead of going out to eat with my friends and spending $100, I'm going to save my money for a down payment on a house, right? It's that muscle. And Storm and I talk about that a lot, is building that muscle of doing hard things. And that's really all I can say is the more hard things you do, the more hard things you can do. And this is something that I like to tell, especially, people that don't have a lot of confidence. It's like, well, where'd you get all your confidence? Well, there hasn't been a day that I can remember that I'm comfortable. I'm not like, oh, this is uncomfortable for me. But I constantly am just doing uncomfortable things. I've had very hard conversations with people, tough conversations about financing and real estate and investing and what does this look like and yada yada yada, and helping them navigate their life. And that's why they trust me, is they put their trust in me because they know Haley can do hard things. Haley's going to, at the end of the day, do her best to do something really difficult for me. And that's really, how I built a lot of the trust of the community here in Maine, especially Wyndham, is just, your reputation is everything. So when people think of you and they think, oh, that's some weak ass person over there, and people have thought that about me. Oh, Haley, she's never going to make it. She's never going to, that's a fucking pipe dream. And here I am, and sometimes, I will say that even the me versus me sign, it's a reminder. And I love that you saw and you're like, that's my girl. But it's a reminder to me that I'm not up against anybody. I'm up against myself. And if I'm up against you, something's not aligned. That's not right. You shouldn't compete with others. You should be competing with who you are. Are you a good person? Do you wake up and think, I'm going to go help someone today? Or are you going to be that selfish person that nobody likes to be around? Because I think that it's crazy in life and business and money. You can't be that person that no one wants to be around. That won't get you anywhere. If you're some picky ass person that's like, oh, well, I can only do this under these circumstances, like no one's going to be able to meet your expectations. So also just having a realistic expectation of life. What is the life you want? And Layla Hermosi, which I've told Autumn how much I love her, she talks about how to live a life that is meaningful, that you want to live. What is the life you want, right? And then get a roadmap on how do you get there? How do you have a life where when you wake up in the morning, you're not having a panic attack on your 100 tasks to do today, or your boss that you hate, or whatever? Like, how do you have that life? And I think that overall, the muscle, to me, in my eyes, what's worked in my life is doing hard things.
I love that. Bye, Storm. Storm's leaving, guys. So here's the thing. Absolutely. And what I love so much is I talk about this, is so many episodes about this, is we so many times get into comparisonitis. We compare, especially in this TikTokification world, right? This Instagram. And I have had conversations. I know that there's a podcast episode prior to this of me talking about the comparison game, the filter world we're in. We're really in this filtered world. And I just love the perspective of that it's me versus me. And as we, wind down this quick hitter, you guys know that I love studying the most successful people in the world. One of the people, Haley, I think you've heard me talk about it, but my people know, is that Michael Jordan is my all-time, he's my man. And the reason I love him so much is because he's just so aligned with himself. Okay. And what he talks about, it was never, ever him against anybody else, although he was highly, highly competitive. It was always him. Right. But it was always him versus him, and so I love that. I think that people get stuck, myself included. We all get stuck in the, well, she looks like this and I look like this. He has this and I want this, and all these things. And so I guess my last question is, what is your advice for people who get stuck in the comparisonitis? How do you get out of that and keep going strong?
That's crazy you bring that up, because I feel like it's something we were just talking about, and people are fake. They're fake as hell. Someone's posting on social media, my life is so great and blah blah blah. Why do you feel the need to post that? I'm the type of person that's going to question you. Why do you feel the need to tell the world in this very snip of a moment, 1 second, that you're so happy and that your husband is this or your kids are that? People are fake. Some of the fakest people I know post all the time, I love my husband, and then when I see him, they're like, my husband's a fucking POS. And I'm like, I just saw this post that you guys were in love and everything was great, and they're just like, oh yeah, girl, like, and it's just like people are so fake and you just got to be real. And it's again going back to what you're saying, just be true to yourself. What are your goals? If you don't have any goals, that's a problem. You need to have a goal, because guess what? I didn't get here where I am without setting very clear goals. And Autumn and I have talked about this previously, is like, how'd you get here? Well, this is exactly where I wanted to be, exactly where, with the kids that I have, with my husband that I have, with the home that I have, with everything that I have in this world is exactly what I wanted. And I worked really hard to have this life, yes, but I was very clear on my goals. So if things didn't align with my goals, right? And if people didn't align with my goals, they were gone. And that's very hard to do. And Autumn's seen my office and I'm here alone. And is it better than being around people that don't necessarily align with my goals? Yes, because that's peace of mind. Peace of mind goes a long way. But I would say if you're out there comparing yourself to others, you got some psychological things that you need to work on. You got to remember that, like Autumn says, you're an asset, and everyone in this world does bring a lot to the table, whether they realize it or not. And I would say maybe you're hanging out with the wrong people, because if you have a friend group where you guys are all you're doing is comparing yourself to others, maybe you got to drop those friends. I've had to drop tons of people in my life because we just weren't aligned. And I knew if I wanted to get here to this day where I have peace and I have a family that I love and I have time with them and everything like that, it was going to come with sacrifice. And that is very normal. If you want to get anywhere that you're not right now, it's going to come with sacrifice. And if you've never sacrificed, you're very lucky. You're a very lucky person, because most people have to sacrifice everything. They have to put everything on the line to get what they want or to just survive the next day. So I would say, if you're feeling insecure, if you're feeling like, whoa, I don't look like this filter, you you need to sit in silence with yourself. And that's what I've done a lot. I've sat in silence with myself for probably hundreds of hours. And the tugboat was really nice for me because there was no cell phone service and there was nothing to do. So it was really me versus me, and it was my own mind versus my thoughts. And I read a really good book when I was on the tugboat. I read a lot actually back then, and there was this book called The Untethered Soul. And if you're struggling with you and others and feeling like you have to compare yourself or you're not good enough, it's a very easy book to read. It's not even long. It's actually really short, but it gives you perspective of this life is very precious, right? This life is very precious, very short. We've all had people that we've lost way too early, way too young. And at the end of it, are you going to be pumped that you were just beating yourself up the whole time in this one life that you're able to live? Probably not. But if you're able to have peace and able to help someone else get through their hardship, that could be worth it in the end for you.
So good. So good. Haley, where can we find you on the socials? We want to hang out more. We need some more motivation. Where can we hang out? Where can we find you?
Yeah. So my business page, The Lender Lady. I really do like in-person meetings, though. I would say I like the in-person connection. So if you want to hang out, my number is 207-653-9107. If you Google me, my business page will pop right up, The Lender Lady. It's a brand that I built under my mortgage business. And yeah, I would say, I really don't post a lot, to be honest with you, because I don't really care. Let's just be real. I don't really care. I would rather be here with Autumn or with my family, because I just believe that it's all about what you do in person that matters. Social media it's great. And people who are building their platforms on social media to get more outreach, I believe in that. But I really don't post a lot because I want it to be, I think it's more impactful in person, is to when you meet somebody and they just blow your fucking mind.
So good. Love it. All right. All right, guys. This was a really quick hitter. Excited to be back. We're excited to have the podcast back in action. Excited to be doing a little video. So if you are listening to this, you can actually watch it. It will be up on YouTube. So that's exciting. And we're excited to bring this back. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the She's an Asset podcast. If you wouldn't mind, could you please share this out? The only way we grow and I can get this out to as many people as possible is with your help. So we're kind of in this together. And the good thing is I know you have my back. So I want to say thank you and ask for you to share the show. And if we're not hanging out in the socials, I hope that you'll come and hang out with me. I'm Autumn Clifford pretty much everywhere. Thank you so much. See you next time.